Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How's it going?
Oh, not bad. We're all here, I guess.
Yes, not all, but some.
Oh,
And Pam, hi. I see you're on.
Hi, Donna. I can't seem to get video on my.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have no idea why it's not. It's just showing a camera with a line through it. So I'm not.
Where are you on a computer or?
Yeah, I'm on my computer, and I was just trying to figure that out. I just followed the link, like you said, but I'm just wondering if there's a.
Weird.
Yeah.
Did you at the bottom it should say like video?
Yeah, it says stop video or start video. And it says select a camera, video settings, like all of that. But
Weird. Have you have you used your computer for other?
This computer is just new. I just got it because my computer was stolen in September, so I haven't used this for this configuration. Let me just see.
Huh.
Webcam plugged in and turned on. Nobody plugs in a webcam anymore.
Yeah, it should just, as far as I know, it should just automatically.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah. I
wonder if you like leave and then come back and
yeah,
see
I'll try that. I'll try that real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually suggest turning my computer off and on, so I'll do that.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, we'll wait. No
Okay.
the old turn your computer off and turn it back on.
I know. Yep. Works for everything. Even us.
Yeah.
We can turn off and before we can work better.
Great. The reboot.
Yeah. Shauna, how are you feeling? Are you
I had a chest x-ray today, so they're just trying to rule out pneumonia, and I'm on a steroid inhaler, which I wasn't keen on, but I'm going to Hawaii in February, so I was like,
want to be better. Yeah.
I want to get rid of this. So.
Totally. God, everybody's sick. My son's been home all week with a bad cough, and a lot of people have just like a really bad cough that just lasts and lasts and lasts. And
yeah, there's some in Calgary. The flu that I have has been going around, and then also really bad stomach flu too. So
sucks. No fun. Knock on wood. I've been able to avoid it so far. I can't get sick. No. Been like the two busiest of my life this last 2 weeks ago. Oh, Pam, it still doesn't work. Weird. Now we can't.
You still need to plug your webcam into the computer, right?
Are you, Pam? Now I can't even hear her. Uh-oh. Pam, can you hear? We can't hear you.
I can't get any video, Donna. I don't know why.
Weird.
Yeah.
Did you say you do have a webcam? No.
No, I don't have a webcam. My computer does, but
right.
I've done Skype on this before, and there's but I can see all of you guys.
Okay.
You guys all hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, that's kind of like.
Yeah, it's really disappointing, but oh well.
Yeah, I'm.
I wonder if I make you host. I'm gonna
see if that helps.
I don't know. Okay, now you're the host. I don't know if that'll do anything. No.
No.
I don't know why that would work. But
yeah, I cannot seem to. Like I said, I've never had this happen, so I just kind of think it.
Yeah. Oh well, that's okay. I'll maybe see. You can start, and I'll just like Zoom troubleshoot for a sec.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So we have I see Olive and Shauna and a phone number.
Oh, that's me. I'm Haley.
Hi, Haley. I'm Pam.
Hi there.
So glad you guys could join me tonight. Is this the Align and Thrive group, Donna?
No, this is Do Your Dharma. So this is all about Doing your Dharma, the whole thing. Yeah, awesome. This is I just started this course this year, so it's the first time.
Brand new, wonderful. Yeah. And then we got Andrea as well.
Andrea, oh, did she? I'm sorry, I'm on my. Actually, Pam, real quick. So when you log into the Zoom, do you have a settings button? Where's your settings button?
Yep.
And when you push that, is there? Did you start with video? Or
the settings on the Zoom or the settings on my computer?
On Zoom. Like, is there a video tab?
Start Zoom, join a meeting. Let's see. I don't see the settings. Hang on. No, it's asking me to, like, when I click on the app, it's like it's asking me to sign in with Facebook and things.
Wait, so at the bottom, okay, you know where it says stop video? Like on the very bottom,
yep.
There's like a right arrow just to the right of it.
Yeah.
And click the video settings there.
Okay, video settings, yeah. Okay, I went to this, and it just says camera, easy camera, enable, let's see, enable HT, maybe that helps. Play participants' names. See, it doesn't actually.
Doesn't do anything?
No, it just says, like it's not doing.
Oh, well. Okay, oh well, just keep going.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I had figured that out long before. I was on 2 minutes before, but anyway. You guys can use your imagination.
Yeah.
If you're wondering, I look like a homeless person right now. I've been at the studio cleaning all afternoon. I'm really excited that Donna invited me to speak with you guys, and I have. She said that there was a couple of you that have done this before, and I wanted to bring you guys something fresh and something new to think about. And one of the things that I've been really working with in my teaching of yoga and running my studio in creating curriculum, etc., is really looking at everything that I do being aligned with my highest intention, my highest purpose. So essentially living my Dharma. And what I've discovered along the way is actually what really gets in the way of us living our Dharma, like underneath these kind of hidden sabotages that we have. We can easily say, oh, I'm all about, living my Dharma is like my being like 100% for my family and giving to them and creating a beautiful family life. Then we've got all these other programs, if you will, running in the background that can sabotage us. So I know Donna's going to be working a lot with you guys on like finding your purpose, creating it, and all of that. And I thought it might be valuable to explore what gets in the way, what trips us up, so that we can sort of be on the lookout for that and give you some strategies for overcoming those obstacles. So I hope that sounds somewhat interesting to you guys. So one of the ways that I like to look at living purposefully, intentionally living into your Dharma is look at what you say your values are, top values. So maybe we can start with each of you, just because this is the way it goes left to right, but Olive, what would you say your top couple of values are that you like to live, that you live into?
I would say health is a big thing, and some spirituality, and just kind of living a wholesome life.
Okay.
And relationships. Yeah.
Great. Anna?
I would say there's like a weird echo. Okay, it's gone. Okay. Health also for sure. Integrity, authenticity, challenge, growth. Those are some of mine.
Great. And then Shauna Kelly. Yeah.
I would say mine is adventure and family, and health and loyalty. Are kind of my key ones.
Great. Madeline? You're not.
There we go.
Yeah.
The things that come to mind for me right away are peace, truth, and just really true freedom.
Peace, truth, and true freedom. Wonderful. Love that you said peace. Great.
What?
I said, I love that you said peace.
That's
peace
the first thing that came to mind.
That's beautiful. Great. Okay. And Andrea, how about you? What are some of the values that come to mind for you?
Mine would be family, probably authenticity, health, and I'd say growth and creativity for sure.
Wow, really great. Okay. So something that that I've discovered happens, we update our marriage vows sometimes. We update our insurance, certainly. we renegotiate mortgages. We update all kinds of contracts. But one thing that we don't often consciously do is update the values that we want to live into to match the life stage that we're in. So lots of times we might say health is one of our highest values, but we're unconsciously still living into other values like making money or seeking validation. And those things come ahead of health. And while sometimes we say we want peace to be the top priority in our life, but we're actually living into needing to be right, which is maybe a value that was important to us in our 20s. So I like to look at, okay, well, in our 20s, the typical values are like validation, being validated, having some modicum of success monetarily or certainty monetarily, that sort of thing. In our 20s, adventure and freedom and that kind of thing become important. And often also being right. We're finding our voice and learning to express it. And we have this need to sort of be right and feel somewhat important. And then we get married and have children, or we move on to another stage of our life, and we say that different things are important to us. For instance, family. Well, then we stay late at work every night. Or we'd say our health is the most important thing to us. And the boss says, well, can you stay late and can you work on the weekend? And you say yes, and you justify it by saying that you have bills to pay. Justify it by saying that you'll lose your job if you don't do what the boss says. And so now your health or your peace or your, the thing that you say you value the most in your family or whatever, has now taken a back seat to making money, to paying bills, to essentially meeting what we would consider society's expectations of us. So I want to just spend a little bit of time looking at what we say our values are, prioritizing them, and then looking at what it will actually take to live into those values in the order that we would like to. And I believe that when we do that, we are living fully into our purpose. Any questions so far? It makes sense in my head, and sometimes when I say things out loud, it doesn't always make sense. Are you guys following? If you have any questions, please stop me at any time. So what I'd love for you to do is, you've all got paper. I can see you guys writing. Good thing you can't see me, because I'm actually talking to you as though you can see me, and I'm making hand gestures and everything. Could you write your let's do your top 5 values right now in your life. Your top 5 values, and write them down. But they don't have to be in any particular order right now.
Pam, do you have a Mac? What kind of computer do you have?
It's a PC.
PC.
A Windows computer.
A Windows, okay. I'm just gonna see. We can just try one more thing.
Yep.
Okay, make sure all programs that utilize the camera are closed. So do you have like Photo Booth or FaceTime or anything like that open?
I don't think I have them open, no.
Okay.
No, I got nothing open.
Okay. And you restarted your computer?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna put a link in the chat box for a second.
Okay.
If you click that, and then wait, let's see. Actually, I don't, maybe not. Hold on. What kind of computer is it? Like which, is it Logitech, Dell, Lenovo, HP, Samsung, Sony? Uh-oh, she's gone. I'm talking to myself. I was on another screen, couldn't tell. Maybe she's downloading something. It's just not the same when you can't see her.
Could it be too when she logs in that she's not clicking on the part where it says something about audio through your computer, or one's
join it.
phone and one?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know, because when I look at like Haley, like she's just on phone, so then you get the little phone icon.
Right.
Hers just said no camera.
Like when I join, it says use your computer's camera or something like that. There's like a button that you have to push. Do you guys get that?
No, mine's different.
Oh, no? Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see if it works. Hopefully. Maybe she'll try. I hope that download button was, I don't know, the right thing. Hopefully it didn't screw something up.
Her comment about changing values is interesting, because I wonder how much health was a value of mine in my 20s.
Right. I don't think it was
lifestyle.
Right. Yeah, totally. I
don't know. Like, I kind of feel like it might have been there, but it certainly wasn't prominent. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I think in your 20s, there's definitely different values, like having fun.
Wine.
Yeah. Partying.
Yeah.
Social, like the social thing is much more a priority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least for me. Yeah. Having fun, going out, living day by day.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if I would trade it. It was fun. Had some good friends, made some good relationships in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Still, some of my best friends are friends from
Were you in New York in
Yeah. I was waiting tables and
oh yes, that's
in the restaurant industry where you make good friends. Hey Pam. I guess it didn't work.
No, I tried all kinds of things there and nothing happened. So
oh well. Okay. We'll just surrender to
we'll surrender.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you guys have a chance to write down 5 of your current values. know you kind of put some of them, you said some of them earlier.
Yeah.
What I would like you to do is now look at those values, and I'm going to ask you, let me start again with Olive just because that's on the left of my screen. Olive, what's the value that you would say is your top one out of all of the ones that you chose?
Health.
Okay, and what does health give you? What do you feel when you feel healthy?
Well, I feel vibrant and alive and ready to live and to do things and to grow. And without that, then I don't have anything else.
Okay, great. So your health leads you to feel vibrant and alive. So it's like the most important thing, and it leads you to be able to pursue growth.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be the number one thing. So what are some of your other values that you've got on your list?
Well, to continue learning, growth. I kind of added a few exercise and outdoors, I guess, just to be able to get outdoors and be with nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my philosophy and spirituality, that might be part of the learning and growing. So those two might be connected. And being creative too.
Mm-hmm.
And relationships.
Okay, relationships. Now what do you want? I believe life is about relationships, and that when we look at things like health, our health allows us to be in relationships in a healthy way as well. Our health allows us to connect with others in a way that we're not we don't need to become, a lot of people will even become ill, manifest illness so that they can have connection and relationship. When we're healthy, we can do that in a really powerful way.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we can actually become victims to get relationship. I believe that relationship is why we're here on the planet. I believe that relationships directly impact the quality of the experience of your life.
Wow.
And so if health leads to great relationships, connection, love, belonging, then that's wonderful. And it might be something to think about in ordering your values. So I'm not telling any of you to put anything in any specific order. I'm just going to give you guys some food for thought. So if you had all the health in the world, but you had no relationships, how fulfilled would you feel in your life?
Yeah, right.
So would you then say that relationships are more important than health?
No.
Still, you would rather be alone and be healthy?
Yes.
Then maybe you, God forbid, wound up with cancer and you had no relationships?
Sorry, say that again about the cancer?
So if you would rather have your health and be by yourself,
yeah,
than not have your health but still have many beautiful relationships.
No, I'd rather have my health. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Go live in a cave somewhere and
yeah.
Okay, but these are valuable questions to really say, to really get to the bottom of, because some people say they want their health, but they actually value relationship more, and they're killing their health to get relationship. Running around. Yeah. Okay, good. So health is your top priority. Perfect. So you would rather be healthy than have connections.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay,
I certainly wouldn't want to, be the victim just to have a relationship.
No one wants to, and no one does it on purpose. Let's make that clear. But I'll tell you what, we'll get to this in a little bit. Human beings do a lot of things to get love and connection because it's actually a human need. We will die without it. So ironically, Olive, I'd want you to consider
okay.
Even if you put health as your first priority and relationships later, if you lost all the love and connection, you would lose your health because we need it to survive.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have 4 human needs that we need to survive, and the first is certainty, the second is variety, the third is significance, and the fourth is love and connection. And without those, we will die.
Can you say those again, please?
I sure can. The first one is certainty. We all need a level of certainty. We need to know that when we go to the mall, that the engineer did his job and it's not going to collapse on our head. Otherwise, we would be anxiety cases all the time. We need to have some sort of certainty that we're going to have food in our belly and that we're safe from harm. Every human being needs that, or else they would have a psychotic break. The next need that we have, ironically, is for variety or uncertainty. Because if you knew everything that was going to happen to you for the rest of your life, you would actually be bored to death, have no need for fulfillment, and probably snooze your way through your life. Variety is the spice of life, creates opportunity for all kinds of things, experiences. And the next one is significance. We all actually need to feel important and special in some way. If we don't, we experience despair, and despair can lead to some pretty horrible outcomes. And the last of the four needs that we have to survive is connection and love, or love and connection. And most often, human beings will seek connection over love because connection is easy, love is hard. It requires vulnerability. It requires a high level of uncertainty. We will seek it in a myriad of ways. And if we can't get it in healthy ways, we will find unhealthy ways to get it. So those are the four human needs that we need for survival. And the two that follow those, that are the needs of the spirit, are growth and contribution. We all need to grow and contribute beyond ourselves to experience some sort of fulfillment in life. Does that answer your question, Olive?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
okay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's based on Tony Robbins' model of the world. I find just understanding these human needs is a really interesting way to look at any topic. So I'm gonna just move on so that everybody gets a chance to share. I want to work with everyone just a little bit on this, and then I'm gonna get you guys to go back in and perhaps reorder these values. Okay. So Donna, what did you say yours?
I have a hard time putting things in an order. Like I've worked a lot with my values, and I have a list of 10, and I have a hard time narrowing things down and prioritizing them. And it's interesting when you talked about the connection, and that's actually not even on my list. Although it's obviously a subconscious one, and it is one, it's just for some reason not on my list.
The last time that I came to speak, I remember that you actually said intimacy was something that you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, that was, with my husband specifically.
Right.
But yeah, I think actually intimacy in general, because I do, I seek depth in my connections and in my relationships. Like I'm not very satisfied with like superficial or shallow, and I'm not interested in small talk. And so, yeah, I think that needs to be on my list. Intimacy.
Right. Intimacy. And so if you consider that relationship, I'm not going to try to convince you guys, and I hope that at the end of this that you maybe start looking at like, wow, relationship actually really informs the quality of everything I do in my life. When we can enjoy something with another human being, whether it be our husband or a friend, or see life through the eyes of a child, or have that connection in some way, I believe that life, whatever we're experiencing, is exponentially more joyful. And so when we don't have, when we haven't consciously, I shouldn't say we don't have that value, when we haven't consciously actually said, you know what, I'm going to put intimacy with all of my relationships at the top of my values list, and we can consciously make choices to override our automatic checkout, our automatic I'll talk to you later, or automatic peck on the cheek to my husband as I run out the door. We can override that and say, if intimacy is more important to me than getting my to-do list done, then I'm going to kiss my husband passionately on the way out the door. So by ordering them, we can actually start to live more consciously into them. So certainly I would invite you to play with having intimacy on your list somewhere. Somewhere for sure. And then what were some of the other ones on there, Donna?
Well, I have a lot, so I probably do need to narrow it down. I mean,
10 is the right number. 10 is great. Okay. And I only did 5 tonight in the interest of time.
Okay.
You guys can all do this later with 10.
Yeah. Accountability, which for me is, taking responsibility for my life and for everything, taking ownership. Adventure, authenticity, beauty, compassion, empowerment, family, happiness, health, and growth.
Nowhere on there is there intimacy or joy.
No. And
Donna,
I definitely don't prioritize fun. Joy. I know that. I don't prioritize it because,
What I would suggest, and this is for all of you, as I'm coaching each one of you, it's for all of you, is to go in and say, okay, adventure. What does adventure give me? Probably joy. So it's actually joy that is the value. Mm-hmm. Joy is what you value, and adventure is one way that you feel joy.
For me, adventure is like trying new things. And so it's like experimenting and taking risks and exploring and traveling and like getting out of my comfort zone. That's like.
What does that make you feel, Donna?
I mean, it's probably exhilarating for me.
Great.
Which
get connected with what you feel.
Yeah.
And then know that that's actually, there's an avenue to that. Adventure is the avenue to that, but it's not the end goal. The end goal is exhilaration, feeling alive, feeling vibrant.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I like that way of
get more clear on where to place things. Because I think joy is all of you guys should have joy, laughter. Like, why bother if there's none of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Shauna?
Okay, I'm going to stick with what I started with, which would now change after your chat with Donna.
Okay, great.
I usually put family at this stage in my life. I have 2 kids and my husband, so they're sort of one of, my primary. And then I have adventure, health, growth, and respect. But going back to adventure, I think, and adventure and growth tie in for me because a lot of what I pursue in my adventure, I'm always growing in them. So if it's my biking, I'm going to bike camps or I'm doing races and that gives me adventure. But it also feeds back into family, like, and the health. I have to be healthy in order to do some of these things. And also to be there for my family, I need to be healthy. I'm trying to provide a good example for my 2 girls. But I see what you're saying because all those things make me feel great. They, where I used to get really, really loaded in my 20s, I like to climb a mountain now.
Right. Yeah. And both were seeking to feel just a change of state. Change of state from the ordinary to something extraordinary, to feel elated in some way, joyful in some way. So
I think humor is a big part of my life too.
Like I value humor. Put that on your list. Humor. That way, when your kids do something really stupid, like I don't know how old they are, but back the car through the garage, then you can remind yourself that you value humor more than. You value humor.
Yeah, they're 10 and 12. So, yeah. Sarcasm might be one of the ones in our house too.
There you go. Yeah, well, it's a form of humor. So, family. What I would love for you to get to there is, because we can say family and it's kind of like a responsibility, and it's the responsible thing to say. Family is, but what is it about being with family? What do you get? Is it the connection? Is it feeling loved, feeling belonging, like really get to what it is, because we can have many relationships that give us that.
Yeah, well, it's funny even listening to Olive, because when I was younger, like I am an introvert, and my mom used to always say I'd be happy as a clam to just be off on my own for days on end and not talk to anyone. Mm-hmm. But I think my husband has leukemia. It's in remission, but we went through a lot of health issues, and he's been in a coma, and I've nearly lost him a couple times. And over the course of that, I think our bond has been, and I don't know if that's intimacy is the word I'm looking for, but sorry, I'm laughing at Stephanie's camera there.
Yeah, I know, some guy just roaming through.
Stephanie, praise your look. Yeah, I don't know if it's intimacy or.
Well, you know what, Shauna, I define intimacy as into me see. Into me see, like it's a next level of vulnerability, just allowing someone to see and be seen. And I think there's nothing more intimate than when someone is having a health struggle and they really have to allow you to see them, and you probably allowed him to see how scared you were. So I feel like that is one of the highest levels of intimacy that can be developed, when we really have to rely on another human being, and we don't have the answers.
No, and it really, that was kind of like post-treatment was really when our relationship changed a lot. I think we communicate much better, and then absolutely I feel really, really close to my husband, but vulnerable at the same time. Like,
beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. And then also with my kids, because it's translated into that. I worry. I went through a phase where I really worried about their health all the time, kind of to a paranoia state. But even now, I mean, I'm sort of, I have the mom love, but at the same time trying to foster growth in them, and realizing that at some point they need to go off into the world, and being able to go. And so
what I would invite you to do, instead of saying family as your top value, is to say that intimacy, continued intimacy, and continued growth in the intimacy with your husband is like number one, because as you recognize, your relationship with your children will change. They will grow up and move on, but maintaining the level of intimacy with your husband is a really valuable asset. All of the other values that you experience in your life are going to be exponentially more joyful if you maintain that level of intimacy with your husband. You have a beautiful partner to share it with. And ultimately, that's going to teach your children how to live in relationship in a vulnerable and beautiful way. So it's a gorgeous gift to them. So it's one thing to say family, but then when we get really specific, like, wow, this level of intimacy and vulnerability has given me a depth that I never felt before, or whatever it is for you, you can really guard that safely as your top value. Yeah. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes, it does. And I'm just thinking definitely how much it flows again over into everything else on my list too. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Great. Okay. I'm not leaving all of you guys hanging. I just, like I said, want to get to everybody. I'd love to spend like hours talking to all of you. You're so interesting. Okay, Andrea, do you want to share what you had?
Well, it's interesting. I wrote family and relationships first, and then I heard Olive speak and thought maybe health should be my first one, because for me, my real struggle, I have 2 little kids, and I work part-time. I also work with little children part-time, is being grounded in order to not snap and destroy my relationships. That's how I feel. And when things start to fall apart, whether that be mental or emotional health, or, really it's the certainty. When the certainty part of my life falls apart and I'm trying to juggle all these things that are coming at me, I snap, and then I feel terrible. So part of me thought, maybe health is first. It's that oxygen mask. that you put on in order to foster your relationships? So that's what I'm curious to hear about.
Something, Andrea. So you don't like the feeling of snapping, right?
Oh no, I hate it. It's awful. I'll wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it, you know?
We could go into that a lot, and there are some needs that are being met there that aren't getting met somewhere else, which is why that's happening. But I'll tell you one thing that you could do, that you could value over your health and over relationship, that would actually have you change a lot of things that you do in your life that lead to that, and that would be to value feeling peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you valued feeling peaceful, you might give up making someone else wrong for not picking up the socks, or cleaning the bathroom like they said they would, or picking up the kids when they said they would, or spilling the juice on the floor, because you actually value peace more than you care about cleaning up the juice.
That is a very good point.
Consciously, daily, like put that on your fridge, that's my number one value. All of a sudden, every single decision that you make takes a different direction. If you value peace and you say to yourself, why am I getting wound up over this? If I say I value peace, then I need to take a walk instead of looking for who to blame.
That's interesting. I think I value perfection too much still, and that's my issue.
Well, this is what I'm saying. We say family, we say relationship, but actually, I love that you said that. What you're living, the value you're living into is that perfection matters more than all those things. So you say one thing, but underneath, you're living into that perfection as your top value. And this is a beautiful thing to suddenly uncover, because the moment you see it, it ceases to have power. And you can say, you know what? I value peace over perfection now. Who cares if my house is a disaster? I just want it to look like we're not 6 days into fighting the poltergeist if someone comes over. I always say, I have elevated you to the status of friends that I don't clean for. For all the perfectionists out there, you can steal that. But do you see, like, this seems like, you know, you write some things down, but actually, when you can consciously say, you know what, I want more peace in my life, I need that more than perfection, you see how everything that you do in your day would change slightly. Yeah.
That's really true. And I have another question, actually. Like, you know, we were talking about intimacy earlier. And definitely another thing that I was looking for, you know, I used to be, well, I guess I still am a musician as well. And so creativity, also like easeful living was one of the reasons I took this course. But also, you know, wanting to sort of get in touch with that intimacy as well with my husband, which I know we're all talking about intimacy. How do you do that without, this is terrible to admit, but sometimes I feel resentful, like I have to do all the work. And do you think the peace thing, value of peace could help me overcome feeling like, why am I always saying, let's make time to hang out? Let's try to, you know, go for a dinner, or let's try to go to bed early together. You know, why, you know, I get resentful and I feel terrible about it, but I do. So what do you do?
Can I tell you why you feel resentful? Are you open to this?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Because you might not like this, but Tony Robbins calls it whoring and horse trading. When you do nice things for your husband, you expect him to change or do something in return. It's 50-50. You're going into it with an expectation. You're giving with the expectation that he should do something for you, that he should be a certain way. But Tony would say that the highest level of love is when we drop that 50-50, you do this and I'll do that. And if you don't do this, I'm going to withhold sex because I know that works every fucking time. Pardon my French, I swear a lot. And when we move to the next level of love, which is meeting your needs is my first priority, I just want to give to you. The irony is that your partner just starts meeting your needs and giving back to you because they can't believe they're so lucky to have someone who does, who like sees their needs and just is delighted to give. The highest level of love is, and intimacy is, your needs are my needs. Your needs are my needs. So how can I meet, you know, maybe your husband is very certainty driven or significance driven or whatever on those list of needs that he is. look to ways that you can meet those just for fun.
Yeah. And, I've seen this. When I've been able to have more, openness and self-control and be more giving, I've seen how everything just goes that way, if that makes sense. It's just there's abundance when you do that, but it's just I'm not very good at maintaining that spirit or that value.
It is a process, like yoga practice, like anything. I believe that we are simply here to refine the experience of life, and so please be gentle and compassionate with yourself, because you are a human being. I do this work every day. I coach many people on this very thing, and I swear I lost my shit last week on my husband. So, and I believe that every time we have a breakdown like that, it's an opportunity. I don't want to be all cliche and be like, it's a breakthrough, but it's an opportunity for refinement, to just pause and go, does that live into my values? And I would invite you, in fact, to put intimacy with your husband, because kids can sabotage that. Make that first, and then put peace underneath that, because actually in intimacy you want a bit of passion, and sometimes that's not peaceful. There still has to be a bit of polarity, right? So doing intimacy first, and then peace next. A lot of things are going to change in your life.
Thank you. It's very helpful.
You're welcome. We got all of you guys? I think so.
Can you not see? There's 4 other people on the screen.
I can't see them.
Oh, weird. Okay, because there's Madeline, there's Stephanie, there's Farron, and there's Haley.
Hang on. You know what? Let me just go. Okay.
Are you?
There we go. Now I see Madeline. Okay, Madeline. Okay. Go ahead. What are your values again?
Okay. Hi. So from the first time we did a values exercise with Donna, I realized mine have really shifted around in the last couple of months. So actually the first one that I put down that I value right now is I put connection. And by that meaning relationships / love. But not only just relationships with other people, but relationship with myself. First and foremost, and love of myself first and foremost. Did you want me to run through them, or?
Just quickly. So connection first. I love that.
Yeah, and then the second one I put that I didn't actually have on my original list is helping or being in service.
Great.
Yeah.
So contribution. Great.
Yeah. The third one was peace. And what I mean by that is not just peace and love and everything's great, but being at peace with the present moment, whatever is happening. So being acceptance, cut through stress, beliefs, negative thoughts, and be at peace with life, whatever life is handing you.
Right.
And then the fourth was truth. Which to me is kind of like the same thing. Truth, honesty. And the fifth was freedom, like inner freedom.
Great. So I'd like to use your example here because I feel like I want to definitely get this piece in that I was thinking about. The biggest thing that gets in the way of connection as our top value, there is something that happens to us when we make connection our top value, and that's great. It's wonderful, and I encourage you to keep it there. I'm going to give you all this because there's a peril here. The fundamental human fear is that we're not enough and therefore not lovable. The fundamental human fear is that we're not enough and therefore not lovable. So the irony of that is that every human being on the planet's running around trying to prove that they're enough and fearing rejection as the biggest fear. We need to belong. We need to feel that we're lovable. And we develop this habit of people pleasing to get connection.
Right.
We're so afraid to be rejected that someone might actually discover that I'm not enough and therefore not lovable. That we start to sell out all the other things that we value: peace, integrity, authenticity, accountability.
Right.
And I'll give you the example that comes to mind. We say we want connection, and then one of your friends says something that hurts your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go home and you say to someone in your family, I can't believe that Judy said this to me. Can you believe that? Didn't I have the right to think she's a bitch? And then you'd start plotting her death in your head. But you don't say anything to Judy.
Right.
So what you're valuing there is being right over being connected.
Yeah.
If you truly valued being connected, you would say to Judy in the moment, I love and value our friendship more than my own comfort zone right now. And I need to have a conversation with you. What you said wasn't okay.
Right.
So valuing relationship means we must give up people pleasing. We have to be willing to have the tough conversations. We have to be willing to say things that are maybe unpopular to remain in integrity with ourselves.
Right.
So that's to me, a really high value to have. And it's one of the most challenging ones to continually make your priority.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think when I guess that's why I kind of said for sort of like connection more so with myself, and knowing that peace does not mean, it's not peace over truth. And, strangely enough, I'm not a big, I am more of an introvert. So I am actually not out connecting a lot, but have more, just deeper relationships and valuing those connections. But I hear what you're saying, like having that integrity in relationships is key for any kind of deep connection.
Absolutely. And actually, truth will always lead you to peace. There'll be momentary discomfort, but there's much more peace in yourself. For instance, in my little hypothetical scenario, there's much more peace in saying, Judy, let's have a conversation. What you said hurt my feelings and I value our friendship. Yeah. That's going to lead to a connection and a conversation, and then hopefully a deeper commitment to friendship. Right. Whereas if you go home and play it over in your head and gain resentment, there's no peace in that.
Right.
So truth will always lead you to peace in some way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, really, really great. And I think that for all of you to consider, all of you who said family or intimacy or any of those things as one of your top values, that if that's really the case, then you're going to have to step up your truth-telling game. Mm-hmm. You're actually going to have to learn to talk through some tears, learn to have the tough conversations, learn to respectfully disagree in pods of people. For instance, I had this conversation with my husband this week, with the Me Too campaign that's going on. About all the women that have been saying on social media that they had been either sexually harassed or sexually abused, and they're coming forward, and all of these Hollywood producers, et cetera, are all going to jail. And we were talking about it, and my husband said, yeah, that's awful. These guys are creeps. And I said, well, they'll continue to be so until men like you, he works at Gorman's Lumber Mill. And I said, when conversations like that start up and they say, well, she had it coming, or that's ridiculous, I said, nothing will change until men like you say, you know what, that's not okay to talk like that. Mm-hmm. That's not, to be the unpopular guy and speak your truth and say, that's not okay. My sister, my mother, my wife, I would never want them spoken to like that, and that's not okay. Right. You have to come out of people pleasing to be in your truth and to create a real conversation and a real connection. And in that instance, an opportunity for maybe some other guys to come forward and say, no, that's not okay. Yeah. So,
yeah, when you say that, Pam, what I think about is having connection requires courage. Yes. And courage to, above, I think, anything else, to be absolutely present with what is happening in yourself. Mm-hmm. So when you're having that conversation, what truth is coming up for you, with some tension, or you know what I mean? Like, this is a continual practice for me to be able to be present rather than being in my head and thinking, you know, what should I say next? Or, oh, you know, or now I'm getting angry. So, but to actually be in my body and respond appropriately in the moment, with integrity.
Mm-hmm.
In like, yeah, just to be able to be truthful and present.
Beautiful.
In myself, to be able to be that in a relationship.
So I would put those values right underneath relationship, like connection.
What were they?
Truthful, presence and truthfulness. And
Present.
integrity. Make those some of your higher values as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are access to peace. The feeling that you get from those things is peace. Peace
Right.
can be a value, yes. And all of those things are ways that you get to peace.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, I think presence, you know, just when I said that, that just really made sense.
I saw your face light up. That's the perfect one.
That's it. To me, everything boils down to presence.
Right? Wonderful.
Being here and now is only, you know, that's where we find love and joy and truth and everything.
It's where you're creating the whole rest of your life from. So you might as well be here.
May as well.
You're either now here or you're nowhere. A little space makes all the difference.
Mm.
Mm.
Thanks.
Thanks, Madeline. Farron. Hi there. You don't have your mic. Oh, there you go.
Myself. Pardon?
There you go. Yeah, I can hear you now. So what are some of your values?
Well, I have love, connection, openness, wellness / health, and sustainability.
Sustainability. Interesting. Sustainability of what?
The earth.
The earth. Okay.
Well, sustainability in general, like my own health and how I impact the people around me as well as the earth I'm living on.
So does that give you, I'm just trying to get to what that is. I feel like there's something tied to certainty there for you.
Yeah, well, environmental, like taking care of the environment.
Yeah, really, really important to you.
Your internal environment or the external environment, yeah.
Okay. But when I hear the word sustainability, what I sort of get is like, either maintain the status quo or make better. And so that, like I say, that really speaks to me of having some sort of certainty of when we're not taking care of the environment or our internal environment, there's a lot of uncertainty about our health, about how we're going to show up. There's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen in the future. So
balance?
I'm looking for the feeling there. That is a way that you get a feeling.
Whoa.
Is that the way that you contribute? The way to contribute?
To a certain degree, yes. I guess sustainability to me, it's I guess the word safe comes up for me for some reason.
Yes, and that's directly tied to certainty. So certainty is a fairly high value for you. And that's one way that you do that. And I love that's the way, because that involves growth and contribution, which will have you feeling quite fulfilled on your journey towards certainty. A lot of people look for certainty in things like smoking or drinking or picking fights on a regular basis. I mean, there's certainty in those things as well. And you're choosing to have your human need for certainty met through contribution. And that's a beautiful thing. Really beautiful.
I should, so certainty should be, like certainty or contribution I should have down as one of my...
I would put contribution down, and then just like inside notes, and how what's important to you to contribute is through environmentalism, like that kind of thing. But no, at the end of the day, it's actually that you're contributing that's giving you the sense of fulfillment.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because when you were 15, what meant something to you is probably a lot different than it is now. And 15 years from now, you might still be really concerned about the environment and your internal environment, and there might be something else that becomes infinitely more important that you spend your time contributing to. Those things can shift, but your need to contribute will not.
Yep.
Great. I might move contribution up your list a little bit. You seem like
yeah.
But
The contribution, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess contribution ties into the wellness and health thing to a certain degree as well. In what I do and what I teach.
What do you do and what do you teach?
Well, I'm a shiatsu therapist and I teach some of the 5 elements.
Great.
And I tie that into stretching and that sort of jazz, as well as with the 5 elements, you start to relate nature to the body and how we're all connected. Everything's connected.
You're preaching to the choir, brother. I teach Baptiste yoga, and we talk about, ground down like earth, flow like water, build an inner fire, soften like air, and create space for something new.
Beautiful, yeah. Well, I have a Ayurvedic background as well, so it's
beautiful.
Totally
so
related.
I would actually say, for you, I feel like balance might be a value that you haven't articulated or identified specifically, but when you're speaking of the elements and teaching that and being passionate about that, to me, it seems like balance is something very important to you.
Absolutely, and actually that word has popped through my head in the last half an hour since I've been on the call, so that makes complete sense. Yeah.
Great. What was your first one again?
Love.
Love. Great. So, and what about love is it? What do you feel?
Well, the word peace comes to mind, but it's more of, I guess I'm in the context of universal love, but also tying into my own life. I think it's very important to come from a heart center.
Okay.
As you go about your day and your life. So love seemed like one of the top values for myself.
So seeing the world through the eyes of love, like that, like seeing that, seeing through the eyes of the heart instead of the eyes of the mind.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just coaching you a little bit, because the more specific we are, like love is big. That's why I asked you, I was like, okay, what specifically? Because the more specific we are about what that means to us, the more likely it is we can take actual actions to live into that value. If love to you was like, petting puppies every day, well then, then that's specifically for you and you're going to be living into that value. But if
I already do that. It's perfect.
Yeah, right? But if it's actually like seeing everyone through the eyes of love, maybe you create some mantras to put around. I have this one that my grandma used to say. Used to say that children that are the most unlovable need the most love.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at everyone in the world as the children of the universe, God's children, whatever you want to call them. And the ones that irk me, that are, raising my ire a little bit, or really, causing a reaction in me, I say that mantra to myself. The children that are the most unlovable need the most love. And having that to go to is a tool for me not to be reactive, but to be able to continue to see through the eyes of love.
That's beautiful. It's interesting because when I think of love, I think you have to start with yourself and love yourself before you have anything to give to other people as well, quite often. And during a period about 1.5 years ago that I was going through, I was pretty down, and all that kept popping through my mind was "Farron, I love you."
Aww.
It's kind of like my mantra. So it's kind of, and that's popping up again lately. So it's kind of like, ooh, where's that coming from?
Beautiful.
It's a subconscious mantra.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What a great one, because most people have the inner critic that's like, hey, you suck. Like, so, that's beautiful.
I fought with that inner critic quite a bit, and I'm starting to win.
Right, yeah. You just need some powerful counter statements, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I love that we were able to get you a little bit more specific about that it's contribution for you, and seeing through the eyes of love. And with those things being more specific, you actually have actionable things you can do. So it moves it from concept to creation. Is this making sense to all of you guys? Like, to move from the concept of a values list to actually like, oh, like Madeline, I might have to have a tough conversation with someone, and Farron saying like, I might actually have to step back and have have a mantra in mind for that jerk that yells at me at the grocery store or whatever. There's actionable things that we can do to help us continue to live into our values and not fall into the unconscious habits that we've developed that take us out of alignment with our stated values.
Perfect.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Stephanie? Stephanie with the toque?
Hi.
Hi.
So I was out for a little chunk of time there. Did I guess we're listing our top five values?
Yeah, list your values. I just like to hear what they are, and I'm just giving a little coaching on maybe what it's going to take to keep those, or maybe how to look at prioritizing them so that they really match up with how you are living.
Okay. So I have quite a few here, and I'm just gonna, I think if it's okay, I'm just gonna take like 10 seconds to kind of feel into them and just organically let them come up. Integrity, authenticity, love also comes up, or inner love, self-love, compassion, and that's 4. Speaking truthfully.
Great. Okay. What was your first one again? You're such a beautiful speaker, and you're so passionate there. I was like, just in every moment, and then I already forgot what you said for the first one.
Integrity, authenticity.
Okay, yes. What does integrity mean to you?
When one can align their mind and their heart with clarity, and they can live into that truth where they can express what is internally happening externally, and I guess show up fully or share that with the world, or in the appropriate space.
Okay, so there's an alignment between your heart and your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So that's when I speak it to integrity, I speak to it from a point of view of workability. Like if there's it's a broken word. If we have no, if we break our word to ourselves, for instance, your heart is telling you to do something and you don't do it. You go in a different direction. Your heart's telling you to be an artist and you go follow the family into being like a corporate lawyer. Then There's a lack of integrity there to self, and therefore no workability. But what I heard under the things that you were saying is there's, to me, it seems like integrity is too small of a word for you. I feel like living into your highest potential expression intention, something more like that. Like that's, to me, the meaning I think I'm understanding you to giving to integrity.
Okay.
And maybe to get really clear on, like, what is that to you?
Well, that makes sense.
Let's take something like integrity, because it's a big concept for a lot of people with a lot of different meaning, and really define what that is clearly to you so that there's no ambiguity in how you're living into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. And I think like even in speaking that and hearing you, like intentionality and clarity are 2 words that come up. Yeah. So yeah, those are good things to sit with for sure.
Great. And I like authenticity just ties in there.
Right. I know those kind of both came up. I was like, oh, I could take another one. Okay.
Yeah, that could be absorbed. And then if you're a fully expressed human being, probably connection with people who are also fully expressed would become an important thing. It's difficult to be a person who is fully self-expressed, who lives big, surrounded by people who don't.
Wow, you're pretty good.
So perhaps just thinking that actually helping you maintain the kind of integrity that you're talking about will require that you hold high value for other people who are like-minded and maintaining relationships with those kinds of people. It would be important to make that a value that you keep in the forefront for you to bring your highest value to life.
That makes sense. I mean, one of the other values on here, and I think a lot of them could become embedded with one another, but is relationship, connection, and community. And, you know, kindred spirit, spirituality. So like that, they can kind of all be folded into what I'm hearing you say, which, maintaining relationships with, folks who show up fully and who I grow, because growth is another one. So who I can grow and be inspired by and inspire.
Beautiful. So those relate for you. I almost feel like you've got integrity, growth, feeling inspired, and connection and love, but they're all on one line. I don't see that as being differentiated like 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all a means to you feeling whole as a person, and like you're contributing what you came to contribute, which I suspect is enormous. Yeah, there's something big in your heart. So for you, I feel like those would, I've never done this before. That's never intuitively come to me, but I feel like yours is a horizontal line instead of a vertical list there. And then you would look at things underneath that, like valuing perhaps some certainty, because those are some big things that you would need to require some level of certainty so that you're not constantly being, those are some big deals, you know? A little bit of certainty would ground you.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, and those of us who are like big thinkers, big dreamers, you want to change the whole fucking world and do it.
I just want to change my life, but then I'll go to the world.
Yeah. Well, we tend to not value certainty or being grounded very much, and it can be a really helpful tool for us to actually go, you know what, maybe I should give some value to that. Because when I'm grounded, I'm more powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Thank
you. Yeah, thank you.
Stephanie. And then we have I have a phone number. I don't know the name of this person. There we go. Who's on the phone?
Hi, it's Haley.
Hi, Haley.
Hi there.
So what are your values?
My top ones have consistently just been like growth and learning. And then I feel like the obvious health and family. But then I kind of finished off with like achievements. I can't wait to hear you dissect it, but
achievement is not a bad thing at all. And in fact, you're one of the only people being totally honest, because we all need to feel like we've achieved something in life, and yet we have this like negative connotation of, I don't want to be known as an achiever. I don't want to say that I actually value validation. But all of you value validation. We all need a pat on the back sometimes. We all need someone to tell us we're doing a good job every once in a while. It's not a bad thing to value.
Totally.
And achieving is, I value achievement because I'm creating a legacy, and it's like a touchstone for me to see, like, I'm creating leaders who cause more leaders, who continue to cause more leaders, so that I can make a global impact through doing this kind of work. There has to be some level or degree of achievement for that to happen. So what sort of, when you're talking about achievement, I feel like there's something there for you, like it's more about fulfillment for you.
Totally, 100%. Like, I almost felt guilty that family wasn't higher on the list, because I've heard everyone speak now and they're all like family, and I'm like, oh man, I've got like 2 babies downstairs, like babies, and I'm like, meh, they're fine. Like, I'm in my head, like I can hear them just screaming, but I know they're fine. But I think part of me even just pursuing this and doing this course is my effort of focusing more on myself and not so much on family, because I think I was kind of getting lost in that role, and I didn't want to go down that road and not be able to get back out kind of thing. Like, I think I'm just, the personal growth and just my intense need for constant learning and stuff, those are big for me.
So is it, would you say that achievement is more tied to growth for you?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, great. So achievement is a means to the end goal of growth.
Yep.
Growth leads you to fulfillment. So achievement is you want to keep in mind that the value is actually growth and fulfillment. Like, growth is the value and achievement is one of the ways that you get to growth.
Okay.
In your life. Because if we only value achievement, we can actually get to a place where it's we're constantly chasing. It's like chasing your shadow. When I get this degree, when I lose 5 pounds, when I get a new car, when I do those things, then my life will be better. We can get attached to it's actually the achievement, not the process or the growth in it, that gives us the fulfillment.
I can definitely see that, but I also really enjoy the challenge too.
Well, that's
like
what
the process.
I'm saying. Make sure that you actually put that it's growth that is the value, and achievement is one way that you experience growth. So that you're not constantly chasing achievements as your only access to meeting your need for growth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Because lots of times I grow when I fuck everything up. There's no achievement.
Probably when you grow the most, though, right? Like,
absolutely. And oftentimes it's not an achievement. It's when I've completely failed at something. So if you get growth in there, you could very well be living fully into that value, even when you're not achieving. But if achievement is the value, it's a little bit more limited. So value achievement, yes, as access to growth.
Right.
Does that make
sense? That makes sense. For sure.
Are you guys following my other friends there? I can see you. Right. And so what was your first one?
Learning.
Learning. So again, learning as access to growth. I think growth is probably right now for you your top value. And learning is access to that. Achievement is access to that. And
I think this the family and like that satisfies the connection aspect that you were talking about, right? One of those just kind of innate needs that we all need somehow, and that's how we get it. And I think that's like, my family are some of my most important people in my life, right? And that's undeniable. But that part just satisfies my need for connection.
Yeah.
Although I feel like I need more connection than just my kids, but my husband.
Then let's articulate that in a way that you can make that a value that you live into, like personal space for grace, space for growth, space for you to be in learning, in achievement, in growth, independently of your children at times and with your children at times. But I would definitely put space as one of your values, something like that. Does that resonate with you?
Yep.
Okay, so if you actually put it as one of your values, then it can be as simple as a strategy like this, Haley. It can be, I am going to take 5 minutes for myself, like a 5-minute mini vacation every single day. And that might be that you make yourself the most beautiful latte and sit in a beautiful chair by yourself and do nothing. It might mean you run yourself a bath. It might mean you get to pick yourself up something special at the grocery store that's just for you. But there's 5 minutes of the day where you build it in and you commit to giving it to yourself. It could be that you take 1 vacation day a month from your children. This is a strategy that might help a lot of you. I give this to a lot of my clients that feel overwhelmed and too busy and have busy families. I ask them what they would do on a vacation day if they had a sudden vacation day coming up. If you could do anything you want, what would you do? and they make a list, and I say, then book that vacation day with your family. This is my one day a month that I have a vacation. It might be 3 hours or 4 hours or a full day. And you could sleep in and watch soap operas if that fills your soul. Or you could take a walk in nature, have coffee with a friend. You could go wander around the mall and look at things you're never going to buy just because it makes you happy to not have to talk to children. It doesn't matter, but giving yourself space in that way is going to be really valuable to you. It sounds like to me. So whether that's a strategy you use or not, it might be a 1 hour vacation. I don't know what's possible in your life, but think along those lines. How could you actually live into giving yourself that space if you valued your space more?
I honestly, whenever I get that little bit of space, I just love my kids so much more. Like that break, just like I was trying to explain it to my husband once, because he gets his breaks every day because he goes to work every day, and I'm usually have the kids every single day. And I'm like, you know that feeling when you're excited to come home to see the kids? He's like, yeah, I love it. And I said, I don't get that. So you're totally right. To take those, like to schedule those breaks. And I have been getting slightly better at it now that my baby is not, well, he's almost 6 months. Like I'm starting to get a lot more flexibility and freedom from him. So we're able to do those kind of things. But that's just heavenly sounding.
Yeah. And you know what? If you actually right now at the stage of your life that you're at, value that as your top value. If you feel it makes you a better mom, you're better able to love and connect with your family, make that a priority. You guys can reorder your values based on where you are in your life at any time that you want. These are not static.
I love that.
It's just like right now, space makes you a better mom, and you can love and connect with your family better, then make that more important than your family. There's no right or wrong to this. Is this making sense for you guys? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Thank you for nodding. You get to reprioritize depending on what you need most in your life. Make that your top value so that you can better live into the rest of your values.
Thank you. That's awesome. I feel like just hearing that out loud is like permission almost, or maybe some sort of validation that I'm like, I've been wanting something, and this sounds exactly like.
It's the mother's guilt, Haley. It never goes away. I have 4 grown boys, and it's just part of being a mom, and you'll have it forever. And so take a freaking vacation. 5 minutes a day or 1 day a month or whatever. You'll feel guilty about it too, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, that's well, and I think it's important to feel a bit of guilt because you know it reminds you that you do truly love them, but you need to just refresh, right? Like they're exhausting.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to add something, Haley, just because like family was one that was certainly on my list, but I sometimes feel like just what you're saying, that when we give ourselves space, or, you know, I've heard a lot of different values here, like love, or I'm forgetting Madeline's right now, but we talked about that a little bit. And I feel like they cover those, kind of like what we're already saying. But like I too, when I give myself space, which I've done a lot of that in the last year, I'm such a more present mother. Presence was one of yours, Madeline. But so anyway, I just wanted to make that connection that resonates with me a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And I so agree that like the breaks, just, I think it goes with anyone, whether it's kids or partners, or like when you can be fully present, it's just so much better when you're not, you know, stuck in whatever else is cluttering your mind. Like, yeah, a little bit of space makes it just that much better.
That's absolutely true, and I really hope that you will value that right now, and then, you know, a year from now or 6 months from now, when the stages of your kids change, and for all of you, with the stages of your lives change in certain ways, whenever there's a major change in your life, whether it's your kids growing up or a job or a new relationship or getting out of a relationship, it's a very important time to actually sit down and do this and say, what do I value most right now? And how do I live into that? Because that is living your Dharma. That is living into I believe Dharma is living into your highest intention in each moment. It's not about having some one North Star, one thing that you're going to produce or do or give in your life. It's about tuning into the truth right now and sharing from that place. But if we don't tune into what our values are on a regular basis and update them update them to suit where we are in our lives, we have almost no hope of living into our highest intention. Now, we've only got 5 minutes, and I really want to get this to you. There is another list that you can do, and you can do this on your own. And this is the thing that will sabotage you each and every time living into your highest values, living into your values, rather. And even if you only did one of these, it will give you a big clue as to how to avoid the pitfall of falling into it. And it's, what would you do anything to avoid feeling? These are called your away from values. So when I discovered one time that I would do anything to avoid feeling disrespected, I realized that was the cause of every fight I ever had with my teenage children. And I was able to go, wow, this isn't even about what they're saying. This is about me needing to not be disrespected. And I could drop that in the moment and say, no, my higher value is the connection to my children. But if we can't see the flip side, the thing we would do anything not to feel. So for some of you, it'll be rejection. For some of you, it'll be to feel humiliated or wrong or disrespected. There's a lot of things, but this is a really valuable question to ask yourself. The thing I do anything not to feel. Is this landing for you guys? You see how that could get in the way of you actually living into your truth, your higher intention? Cool. Does anybody have one just top of mind that comes up for you, what you do anything not to feel? And this is a little bit more vulnerable than saying your values. So I acknowledge you if you are fearless this evening.
I think for me, I don't know if it's disrespect or if it's betrayal.
Betrayal.
Or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's so lovely. Thank you for sharing that, because now you have access to ask yourself some valuable questions in the moment when you're reacting. Am I just feeling like this person's betraying me and that's my own reaction? Is that really what's going on here? And what do I really value?
Mm-hmm.
We must know what we'll do anything to avoid feeling if we are to live fully into the values we want to create for ourselves. Really great. Thank you. Anyone else?
I might be wrong to say this, but because there might be another layer to it. But failure?
Failure, you actually just prefaced that so beautifully. I might be wrong to say this, but yeah. So actually, you'd rather not feel like you did something wrong. And for you, it might go back to at some point in your life, someone made you feel bad or wrong or not good enough when you were in perceived failure. But just to know that you don't like looking bad. You have and it's not just you. Every human being on this phone call, every human being on the planet has a concern for looking good. But if you would do anything to avoid looking, and I'm going to go out on a limb, looking stupid. You do anything to avoid looking stupid, then you can really get to, oh my gosh, I'm putting needing to be right or look smart above peace or connection. Do you see where I'm getting at?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it goes to feelings of not being enough too. I think it was the other underlying one.
Absolutely. You'd avoid anything. You'll do anything to avoid feeling not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I know that's just dangling a carrot at you, but I feel you guys are all incredible, intelligent, compassionate, lovely people. And I'm so, I feel so excited that there's more human beings out there doing this great work. I'm so honored to work with Donna at any time that we get to work together. And I hope that I was able to contribute a little something to your group tonight. But it really warms my heart to know that there are such just wonderful people out there doing this great work, and know that you are all going to touch, move, and inspire so many people in your lives because of the work you're doing right now with Donna, with each other. And I'm just truly humbled and honored to have been able to speak with you and get to know you all a little bit.
Pam, can I ask a quick question before you go?
Absolutely.
I just wanted just kind of build on that. So if we notice that, like I would do anything to avoid feeling or looking like a failure, in other words, feeling shamed or embarrassed or whatever. So
those are better words, ashamed or embarrassed. Okay.
Ashamed or embarrassed, yeah. How do we take that one step further? So we notice that, and then we notice in our lives how all the many things that I would do to avoid that. And then do you have any suggestions what to do next?
Yeah. So in the moment, for me, I can use the example of being feeling disrespected. I felt very irritated at work one day. I was actually trying to show one of my teachers how to use the computer, and she's a little bit of an older teacher, and she just had she was really struggling, and she said, you never showed me this before. And I had shown her like 6 times. And I actually, like, in the back of my mind was becoming somewhat homicidal, to be honest. In the moment, though, that I caught it, I actually thought, you feel disrespected right now. That's what I like. It came up for me because I had made it present. And then I realized that my reaction was not to her. It was to being disrespected. And in that moment, I said, what do you value most, Pam? What I value most is standing for others. Standing for the greatness of others. So I said to myself, Pam, strangling her will not make her better at the computer.
Okay.
But what it does is it gives you the pause, it's like the pause between the breath and yoga. It gives you the pause, and you can say, what do I actually value, and what's the action I take towards that?
Right. So you notice when it comes up in yourself.
What's that?
Like you notice it when it comes up in yourself or when you've been triggered. And
now that you've made that present, I'll do anything to avoid feeling embarrassed or ashamed. Now that you've made that present, when that comes up for you, it's not going to go unnoticed. You're going to say, oh, wow, I'm actually backpedaling or trying to get around something so I don't feel ashamed. What do I really value? But until you made it present, it would just be running the show behind the scenes.
Right. This is so cool for me because my value is presence. So I have really noticed over the last 6 months or so, when I start to feel that feeling coming up in meetings or whatever, I move to being absolutely present with what's happening, and it tends to subside. But I wasn't putting it into words of what I was actually avoiding all this time. So thank you. I guess I'm kind of doing it.
You are doing it. You are doing it. You guys are all doing it. You're doing amazing. That was a great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pam. It was so awesome, as always, to have you here. I'm so grateful that you were able to contribute, and I know we all got a lot out of it.
Thank you. I have to share something with you because I don't have a concern for looking good, and I want you to know how human I am. We got evicted from our studio.
Oh, no.
And they wanted us out December 30th, and there was all this stuff going on, and we ended up only having 3 days to renovate our new space, and those 3 days were last weekend while I was running a teacher training.
Oh, no.
So I had my family in there doing it, and my team, and they got it all done, and we opened the studio, and then the studio is packed, and I got your email yesterday saying, we're looking forward to you talking to them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to Donna's people tomorrow. And we sat in meditation this morning, and I was like, I just want to be present with them and have a cool conversation and really listen and see what I can contribute, and just kind of go with an idea. And I appreciate that you guys just were so receptive to that. And like I said, I hope it was of service in some way.
Definitely. You're so good that you can just, you don't have to plan, or you can show up and be awesome.
It's just practice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.